The Kardashians episode 6 is out, and we are breaking down Kravis's Vegas wedding, the iconic Skims shoot, and the premiere of The Kardashians season 1. Hey guys, and welcome back to another Shared News. We have your weekly Kardashians recap. But before we get into it, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on any of our future videos. I'm your host, Allison Van Dam, joined today by Kayla Thompson. Kayla, I'm so excited to break down this episode with you, but a question that I always like to start off with is, was this episode influential or was it fluff?
That's a good question, Allie. Um, that's hard. I feel like it was influential in a way. I think we got a lot. We got a peek into a lot of behind the scenes kind of stuff that happens with Kardashians. I mean, I guess it's every episode, but I thought it was pretty influential. Maybe as we talk about it, I might change my mind, but I don't know. What do you think?
I feel like in a way it laid the groundwork for a lot of things. We
Mhm.
finally got the Kravis Vegas wedding, which they have been teasing us with for
Right.
weeks. We finally got the iconic skim shoot. So in a way, I think it was influential because we at least moved forward in kind of the timeline and we got those moments that they've been showing us and previewing for weeks and weeks.
Right.
So that hopefully we can really just like launch into the next chapter, launch into the
Yeah.
Kravis actual wedding over in Europe, see the Met Gala stuff with Pete, some of the bigger moments. So I guess I would say
Mhm.
influential because it's at least getting us there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, nice setup. I agree.
So starting off where we left off last week, Courtney and Travis are married. I guess not really, but kind of. When they were in Vegas after the Grammys, they went to go get vegan sushi in a strip mall. And afterward, they were Googling, Vegas chapels. They wanted Elvis to marry them. And they ended up going to a chapel. They said it was really small. It was just security, Travis's manager, and his, I guess, drummer from the band, who also was the one taking the photos and the videos. So they're showing everyone these photos and videos. And Courtney is, as Chris would say, drunk as a skunk. She said she was slurring her vows and that this was tequila Courtney coming out. And then Travis, I guess, accidentally called her Chloe in the vows, and she just fell to the ground laughing. She said after this whole ceremony, she threw up, took her top off, unbuttoned her pants, and then had to walk back through the hotel as people watched and took photos. And that they tried to get a marriage license, but because it was 2 a.m., they weren't able to. So, quite the chaotic evening. Any thoughts on more
Yeah.
information that we've gotten from the Kravis Vegas wedding?
Listen, I just feel like, what Kim said later when her and Chris were talking about it, she's like, it wasn't the real, like, this isn't the real wedding. It's the fake wedding. It's the fun wedding. It was
Mhm.
just for fun. Travis and Courtney I think they really are in their like happy era, just kind of living their life and just bliss. So this was just like a decision they made like off the cuff, like why not? Let's just do it. And like it was like a fun night for them, but like also legit because they want to be married. So it was kind of a good mix of the two. But yeah, pretty hilarious. I wish we could have seen it though, instead of just hearing them talk about it. But
Totally. I kind of wish maybe at least like one member of the camera crew would have come in and filmed, but I honestly don't think that they were really being filmed during Grammy weekend. And I think if they had been, we would have seen them in last episode when Kendall was in Vegas as well. Would have been an easy kind of
right.
like collaboration moment, but maybe they were just fully focused on Travis's responsibility at the award show and didn't want to be on camera. But they did want to be on camera for a vegan chicken photo shoot. They said that this brand just makes absolute sense to them. They try and eat healthy. They're posing with these buckets of fried vegan chicken. They're fully glammed up. So, my question to you, Kayla, is now that their modeling careers have taken off, what brand should they model for next?
My goodness. I mean, when I saw the bucket of chicken, I was like KFC, but obviously they've got the vegan chicken, so can't do that. Maybe they just need to keep doing the foods. I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's going to be their thing, like eating healthy and doing other vegan foods or like drinks or I don't know, some kind of green juice or something. But
Mhm.
if they kind of keep it up, it could be like their little shtick. I think that would be really funny, actually.
It would be. I mean, Courtney is known for her salad shaking, and she's made fun of that in the past. So maybe we could get like a sexy salad shake with her and Travis. I feel like with
Mm.
these two, you
Oh,
never
I could
know
see
because,
that.
as you mentioned,
Yeah.
they're kind of just in their happy, like, let's go for it era. And they're kind of acting like
Right.
teenagers in a way, which is really cute to watch. And I'm excited to see their wedding. But Chris and
Yeah.
Kim, as you mentioned, are also discussing this Vegas wedding. And Chris is saying that she would have been disappointed if they would have gotten married for real and if they wouldn't have been there, if Chris wouldn't have been involved, which brought me back to a very early season when Courtney and Scott debated doing like a kind of quick wedding and just getting married in Vegas.
Mm.
I think it was in Vegas actually. And Chris pulled her aside in like the bridal shop and said, "What are you doing? Like your little sisters aren't here. Bruce isn't here." She had this whole
Right,
like coming to
right.
Jesus moment with Courtney, and Courtney ended up not going through with it. So maybe this has always
Mm.
been Courtney's plan all along. She had that itch to get married in Vegas. It wasn't right for her and
Right.
Scott, but maybe it's right for her and Travis.
Like what we were saying earlier, it's like this fits her and Travis. They're I don't know, to me they're so much more in love than her and Scott ever were. I don't know, just maybe a better, healthier relationship, but like it's fun, it's them, they're older, they can do what they want, you know. I think yes, it'd be nice if like the Chris and the family, you know, her sisters were there, but I think it you know, like Kim said, it's not their serious wedding, you know, they'll have their
Mhm.
ceremony with everyone.
Fun stuff. And Kim is pitching the idea for her skim shoot to her mother, Chris. She's walking her through that she wants to get all of these iconic supermodels to model skims. And then she's being asked by the camera crew and producers if she is a workaholic. Obviously, we saw last episode she's out in
Mm.
Miami with Chloe, editing photos while Chloe is like taking shots and drinking Red Bull. And it feels to me like there's a big emphasis on working. I feel like ever since we switched over to Hulu, it is a lot more focused on business. It's a lot of focus specifically on Kim not taking a break, just being like constantly working, a go-getter. And so I'm like, is that all to do with image? Is that just the focus of this new franchise? Is she trying to get people to take her more seriously by emphasizing just how
Mm.
much she works so people don't think she just kind of had everything
Yeah.
handed to her?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it could be a mix of a couple of things. I think that's definitely in there. But I feel that it's very genuine coming from Kim that she's like very passionate about Skims, that, you know, she has these ideas that she really wants to come to fruition. And I think she does. Like, you do constantly hear her being like, yeah, so this shoot X, Y, and Z. And like, you know, even in the kitchen, you know, with her sisters. Whereas with the Chloe, I think Chloe has a lot going on personally, but well, Kim does as well.
Mhm.
But I think, you know, we know way more about Skims than we know what's going on with Good American. And I think that may be genuinely just because Kim is really, I don't know, that might just be her personality. Um, but yeah, it's an interesting point to bring up, I think, for sure.
Yeah. So another job that's in on their schedule for all of the women is that they're now starting press for Kardashian season 1. So kind of interesting in like a meta situation where we're watching them on season 2 film promos for season 1. Like it's just kind of like they're all in a row, but they all go to Jimmy Kimmel and they're all on the show together. Chloe's in the back discussing once again that she would like a boob job and that she's going to actually go in for a consultation. Now, this was a conversation that started last episode when she was telling Chris, and Chris was saying maybe they should do it together so they can be surgery buddies. So I guess we'll wait to see how that consultation goes for Chloe. But Kim actually gets flowers from Pete, and I paused my screen so that I could copy down what the note said. It's this huge bouquet of flowers in her dressing room. And the card says, "Congrats on your new show and season. I'm so incredibly happy for you and proud of you. Love, Aladdin." So obviously, a callback to them playing Jasmine and Aladdin on SNL. But maybe everyone is
Mm,
asking this question: where is Pete? We are on episode 6 and
yeah.
we've only had a phone call and a floral bouquet from him. Where is he?
Allie, I knew you were going to ask this question because every week you're like, where is the footage of Pete? Like,
Where is
where is
Pete?
Pete? I
Where
knew
is
you were going to
he?
zoom in on the note. What did he say? But you know what? It's funny because in this little section, Kim did mention like, you know, her and Pete weren't going to walk the red carpet together or the black carpet together. And everyone's like, what? Like, why? And so she kind of takes a moment to be like, you know what? You guys will get a glimpse of what's going on in my life because I'm not trying to hide anything. But, you know, we need to keep things separate sometimes and business. And so I felt like that was a reflection of kind of what's going on even in how they're editing the show. Because obviously we know from social media, yes, he didn't walk the black carpet with her, but he was there. And so,
Mhm.
but in the episode, we got no footage of Pete. I was looking for him at that after party too. I was like, okay, so is he going to show up? Like, are they going to show him? So I think they are trying to separate and maybe kind of like, yeah, they're not going to give us the full, I don't know, even visually Pete and Kim, but we're going to be aware that yes, like they were together at this time. So it's interesting the way that they're doing it, but I feel like it kind of does make sense at the same time because we know that they're broken up, you know?
Yeah, and I was even thinking the same. It felt like maybe it was edited around when, like you said, she was getting ready for the premiere. They're asking her if they're going to walk, and his glam team, if we want to call them that, is starting to arrive clearly at Kim's house.
Hmm.
His stylist, his grooming team, and they're walking straight past Kim into like a different part of her closet. And so I'm like, Pete must be there. So it would have been very
Right.
easy to film him being in the background, also getting ready, also very easy to edit him out now that they're not
Yeah.
together and Kim has creative control as a producer. So I did find it interesting that he was so close yet so far. We're seeing his grooming team, but we
Yes.
don't actually see him being groomed as opposed to Travis who's
Yes.
getting his nails buffed and his I don't know, tattoos
Right.
looked after. Who knows what Travis does to
Yeah.
get ready, but
Yeah. It does keep the allure, I think, of are we gonna see Pete every week? We're like wondering if we're gonna see him. When are we gonna see him? Like I think it kind of keeps that going as well for the
mhm.
viewers. So
Yeah, it's definitely making us ask these same questions every single week and when we are going to see him. Obviously, we'll get into the tease for next week, but we are going to start talking about Met Gala stuff. We know he was very involved with that. So fingers crossed that he's remains part of the Met Gala footage, but based on their editing and creativity with these past
mhm.
episodes, he might be, minimized in his
Yeah.
exposure. So Kim finally has her icons shoot with Skims. So we have Alessandra, we have Tyra, we have Candace, we have Heidi, some of the most famous supermodels ever. And she actually, pulls Alessandra and I think it was Candace aside and says that back in around 2008, after the Victoria's Secret show, she went out to an after party and was just kind of like looking at them in the VIP area. So obviously, at that point in her life, Kim wasn't in the VIP area with them. And now they are here modeling her brand, her baby, this big
Yeah.
company that she's launched. So clearly a huge moment for Kim, but then it becomes even bigger when Heidi encourages her to model with the women. She wasn't planning on modeling with them, it was just going to be the four of them, but they throw Kim into the mix. And honestly, I feel like it made the shoot 10 times better, not only to have Kim in there, but to have a
Mhm.
group of five. They all have different color hair. They obviously have
Mhm.
all different, body shapes, sizes. And so I felt like it actually really rounded out the shoot concept.
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. This was so cool to watch. I mean, first, I love photo shoots. I love visuals. I love creating visuals. So I like seeing how that goes behind the scenes for someone like a Kim Kardashian. But for this to be her brand Skims, for this to be like, her baby, and then she has these like, role models for her in like the modeling kind of fashion industry come to her shoot and be a part of her campaign. Like, it's amazing to see. And even for a Kim Kardashian to be like, oh my God, like fangirling. It was such a cool moment for Kim. And my mom even came in and was like, I didn't even know that was her brand. Like I love Skims. Like my mom owns some Skims products. And she was like, so it was just, I think all of it is just, it's a testament to what we were saying earlier about how Kim works really hard. And I think people respect her
Mhm.
brand. And so that's why a Tyra Banks is like, yeah, girl, I'll be there. So yeah, I love this. And again, yeah, what you were saying, Kim being a part of the shoot just made so much sense. It made it kind of, full circle. So that was a great segment
Yeah.
of the episode for sure.
Totally. And my question to you, Kayla, is obviously you are the singer songwriter of the group. So if you were to collaborate with an idol, whether it be on a song or a photo shoot,
Mm,
if you started a clothing line like Kim, any sort of
yeah.
medium, if you could collab with an idol, who would it be and why?
Oh my goodness, that's so hard. I think just because she's been such an inspiration to me from the beginning, Tori Kelly would be amazing collaboration. Even like Taylor Swift. Um, and Julia Michaels is like big, big for me, like big
Hmm.
inspiration for me as well, and like pop music. So Probably those 3. If I could, like, get those 3 in, like, a music video or something, that would be, like,
Ooh,
crazy. That'd be super cool.
yeah.
I would love that.
You need to pull, like, a Taylor Swift Bad Blood music video where she just pulls in, like, all of her
Mm.
celebrity friends,
Yes,
gives them each a character, makes it a whole thing, and then you all
exactly.
win VMAs. It'll be iconic.
Period. You'll creative direct. We'll do it.
Love it. Wrapping up this episode, we have the premiere of the Kardashians season 1. What I loved more than anything is Chloe and Chris getting glam together. Obviously, we know they're next door neighbors. They're getting ready together with their hair and makeup teams. Chris tells her that she recently bought a bulletproof car. So just Chris being Chris. But
Yeah.
Chloe, starts talking about as they're getting ready and as the premiere gets closer and closer, her anxiety is starting to pop up a lot more. And we, saw this last episode when she was in Miami. She says there's just a lot of scrutiny, a lot of criticism. There's cameras, people clock everything, people judge you online, and that's been really hard for her. But in addition to that, she's going to a premiere of her life. She has to rewatch season 1, a
Mhm.
different chapter of her life. And Tristan was heavily featured in season 1, specifically, at the
Yeah.
Kravis engagement. They were talking about what a future would hold for the two of them, potentially growing their family. So, which moments do you think are going to be the hardest for Chloe to watch back in terms of her and Tristan?
I mean, I think even the last episode before, like, with just I think it'll be hard for Chloe to watch even that whole entire episode 1 of this season, like, where she's having to rehash all of it. And yeah, that's gonna be tough because I think that entire episode was dedicated to them. But I really felt for Chloe in this whole segment. I was just like, dang, I didn't piece it all together that she would have to kind of, like, go through that all over again, watch people's reactions live in person, but also knowing they don't know kind of like what's really going on with her presently
Mhm.
when it comes to Tristan. And so even her yelling out like liar, I was like, I feel her. Like, I feel for her in that moment. It's a tough situation to go through. And yeah, I think Chloe's such a strong person, man. It's tough what she's going through, but
Mhm.
yeah.
I think she handled it as best as she could. I loved the liar moment. I think she kind of made light of the situation and just made it a little more humorous. If she can laugh about it or throw out liar as opposed to, her crying, it's going to help everyone feel a little bit more normal about watching it. She obviously went with True. She drove with True. She walked the carpet with True. She loves being a mom. And then she even told Kim at the after party, like, oh, I'm not going to stay that long because I have a 5 a.m. session at the gym tomorrow. So Chloe is doing
Yeah.
Chloe. I think she knows what she needs to feel secure and minimize any sort of anxiety as much as she can. So, just happy that she was able to push through, have that night with True, and then make it to the gym the next morning. But I mean, obviously, this
Yeah.
is a huge event for the family. Kim says that they used to watch, every episode of Keeping Up at her mom's house. Obviously, that was just a moment between the family. But they were all talking about how this is just a magnified experience because of switching over
Mhm.
to Hulu and the Disney family as they kept putting it. They have huge press circuits like Jimmy Kimmel. They have this big premiere with hundreds of people. So it's very different than when episodes would just, go live on E! News. So, as a
Right.
longtime Kardashian viewer like yourself, talk
Mhm.
about this moment because we've watched them from day one be this kind of
Yeah.
crazy family in Calabasas doing crazy stunts and antics to having a
Yeah.
full black carpet for their first episode.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I like got chills almost watching it because you're seeing, like, I don't know, you're seeing a testament of Chris's hard work, of like Chloe and Kim and Court, all of them, Kendall, Kylie, like, they're
Mhm.
not just reality stars anymore. They're entrepreneurs, they're business owners. And so I think that's a part of why, like, Hulu picked them up, Disney wanted to work with them, and that they have this red carpet event. They're not just like any old reality TV show anymore. And so for them to go from watching their episodes in their mom's living room to, like, we have a press junket, we have a, like,
Yeah.
that's amazing. It's an amazing, testament to their hard work and an amazing accomplishment. So it was cool. It was cool to see them have that moment.
And I have to say, I know we've been talking about this a lot ever since they switched over to Hulu, but I am loving them on this new platform because it just feels like they're
Mhm.
delivering things straight to the camera. They are talking about their passions, they're talking about their businesses. I feel like they maybe kind of got caught on E, if that makes sense, or like they had to do these antics or make it seem like they were still in season 1 or bring parts of that into
Mhm.
their updated seasons. And I feel like when they jumped over to Hulu, they just had this full refresh and a restart and we got to pick up
Yeah.
where they are presently as opposed to being like, okay, well,
Mhm.
let's pretend like it's season 3. So I'm very excited to
Mm.
see, where their time on Hulu goes. Obviously, we'll have more big events. I wonder if we'll continue getting press, season 3, they'll be promoting season 2 and we'll just keep building off of
Right,
that.
right.
But
Yeah.
the preview for next week for episode 7, we have Met Gala fitting starting. We have Kim talking about, the iconic Maryland dress. We have Courtney and Travis heading to Milan for fittings for their wedding. We see Courtney asking Travis, do you want to say a prayer? Obviously, he had a terrible plane crash and has just started flying again
Mm.
since he's been with Courtney. So that'll be interesting to see. And she says the wedding is less than 30 days away. So we are cutting it close. And then rounding
Wow.
out, Chloe says, and she doesn't even say Black China. She says, the mother of my brother's daughter. So I'm wondering if part of that has to do with the lawsuit as well, because she is suing them for defamation of character. I'm wondering if they're just saying, let's not have her name come out of any of our mouths to avoid any future
Mm.
lawsuits. But I'll be interested to
Yeah.
see if we can really fit all of this into one episode or if we're going to be teased with
Yeah.
parts of this that will then be episode 8.
Mhm.
So to wrap us out, what are your predictions for next week?
I think when it comes to the Black China situation, they're probably just going to keep peppering it in, and maybe that'll be the kind of finale of the season. So I don't think we'll get
Mhm.
a full like this is what's going on in the trial and stuff. Like even this episode, Chris was like, "Don't talk about it." Like, don't like Chloe tried to bring it up and she's like, "No." But yeah, I think next week we'll probably just get a big chunk of the Met Gala and that whole fitting and that whole preparation with Kim. I think we might see Pete. I don't know. I feel like this is their chance to show us
Mhm.
Pete. If they don't show us Pete here, we're not getting him in my opinion. I don't know. So I think we might see a glimpse of Pete. Probably won't get a whole lot, but we'll at least see him on camera with Kim at the Met Gala. Maybe not some behind the scenes stuff, but yeah, so that's my prediction for next week's episode. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think you might be right that this is finally the episode where we will see Pete on our screens because this is the iconic shot of them at the Met Gala together. They walked that carpet together. I know they didn't walk the Kardashian season 1 carpet together, but they did walk the Met Gala carpet together. So it'd be hard to really edit him out of that if I'm being honest. We'll see them walk up the stairs together. But we'll also see the other girls go to the Met Gala as well. This was I think the first year that all of the women from the family went to the Met Gala together. So
Mm.
definitely excited to see that. And we also know that the verdict for the Black China defamation trial came out right around, I think it was maybe even that same weekend for the Met Gala. Cause I remember Chris
Mm.
was asked about it on the Met Gala carpet of how she felt about the verdict. So interesting to see how all of that ties in. I'm sure it was definitely a stressful time between preparation for the event, dealing with the trial. So exciting stuff to see next episode. But that is all we have for you guys as of now. Thank you so much for tuning in to our Kardashian recap. Put your thoughts about this week's episode down in the comments below. And before you go, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on any pop culture updates. I'm your host, Allison Van Dam, joined today by the lovely Kayla Thompson. Our social handles are on the screen right now if you want to come say hello. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.